You're tuned in to Shikama Live. Months before the ISIS rebels began their threatening move into Iraq's southern regions, the International Energy Agency was imploring OPEC to produce and export an additional 1.2 million barrels a day more oil by the end of 2014. The sad fact is that out of the 12 OPEC members, 8 of them are collectively in decline. When summed together, Algeria, Angola, Ecuador, Iran, Libya, Nigeria, Qatar, and Venezuela were producing just over 14.5 million barrels per day in early 2005, but are now producing just 11.25 million barrels per day. These countries are losing nearly 500,000 barrels per day of production per year. Of the other 4 OPEC members not in decline, only Iraq has managed to add significant production. It increased its output from 1.75 MBD in 2005 to 3.25 MBD currently. The nearly 2 MBD of incremental Iraq production were essential to keeping Brent oil within the price range of $100 to $110 per barrel over the past couple of years. At best, the ISIS rebellion guarantees that any potential additional Iraq oil output gains are not going to materialize in the near future. No oil companies are going to invest in Iraq until and unless the situation stabilizes. This means that Saudi Arabia will have to account for 100% of the hoped-for additional oil supply that the IEA is called for. There's quite a bit of uncertainty among oil analysts as to whether Saudi Arabia can even do this, as that's over 1 million barrels per day more than the country has ever pumped in its entire history. Can the Saudis do this on the backs of aging fields, on average 50 to 60 years old? It's an open and very serious question. They say they can, but all we have is their word on the matter, no data or evidence. If they cannot, then the world will have to confront the harsh reality that Saudi Arabia is no longer the go-to swing producer it once was. A slightly more dire scenario could see Iraqi oil production decline from current levels due to various insults to its existing oil production systems. Perhaps there will be more voluntary shutdowns of pipelines and refineries, as happened to Iraq's biggest refiner in Baji Tuesday morning. A complete loss of Iraqi production would spike the world oil price up to $200 per barrel pretty quickly. Any declines will only add to the pressure on Saudi Arabia. It will not only need to make up for losses in sliding 8 OPEC members' production, but for any Iraqi losses as well. The loss of 1 million barrels per day would place a burden on Saudi Arabia that takes it to 100% of its stated production capacity. The most dire scenario sees a regional conflict breakout that puts the Middle East Shiites, Iran, against the Sunnis, Saudi Arabia, leading to a compromise of the Strait of Hormuz. 40% of the world's exported oil flows through this waterway. If conflicts cause this flow to become restricted, then $200 per barrel would seem positively cheap. While this risk is small, it is catastrophic potential outcome that cannot be dismissed. Prudent government and investors need to begin factoring this in. Obviously, we need an alternative to oil, maybe gas or some other fossil fuel. Fossil fuel, for those who don't understand, who think, oh, well, we can just turn to solar. For those who don't understand, we have not spent 100 years in research and development creating engines based on fossil fuels. Maybe, perhaps, if we start today, maybe in 100 years, we will have efficient engines that will run off of solar power or wind power or something like that. We don't have the technology right now that is equal to an engine that burns fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are the most efficient source of energy known to man right now. And for all of those people who are saying that we need to stop it, it makes absolutely no sense to even say that, because we don't have the technology to just stop. It would be as if somebody who said, stop making women have children and let's have some sort of alternative. We don't have the technology. And it's just that serious. That allegory is just as equal as the people saying, stop using fossil fuels as an energy source. Tell me what you think, and thank you for, are you at $200 barrels? I want you to do the calculation. It's $100 a barrel. Crude oil, $100 a barrel right now. How much are you paying per gallon at the gas station right now? Now I want you to double that. And that will impact the entire economy. And of course, if they lose Iraq altogether, that's going to impact the global price of gasoline completely to some astronomical number. Maybe then we would be forced to really turn and seek alternative energy sources, like the sun, like the wave energy from the oceans, maybe wind, or maybe something else, some sort of other gas that maybe we can come up with or use, that we would have in abundance to the tune of millions of barrels of it per day. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show.